Hey folks, it's Dennis with Aspen Thicket Grouse Dogs. Thanks for tuning in today. Gonna go over, I guess you could call it an impulse buy I ran into the other day. Bought a new shotgun. It's a CZ Bobwhite, but it's a little bit different than the rest of them. So stay tuned and we will go over it.
See this bird? Good job.
So hey folks, it's Dennis with Aspen Thicket Grouse Dogs. Thanks again for tuning in. As I mentioned in the intro to this video, I might have had a little bit of an impulse purchase. I bought a gun. Went to L&M Fleet Supply. So I got to tell you the backstory to this, right? Because this is so typical of folks like me, right? So I go to L&M Fleet Supply. It's Scout's birthday. Don't have any dog treats, so I'm like, I'll go there and get some pig ears or something for the dogs. It's on the way home from work, after work. Well, you go into L&M Fleet Supply, and of course they have guns and sporting goods, so naturally you're going to take a walk through them. So I go grab the pig ears, and then I'm walking through the gun section, and I'm like, whoa, look, they got some new side-by-sides in. I love side-by-sides. Don't have a whole lot of them. I actually have, I have three. I have a 28, a 20, and a 16. But, compared to a lot of other upland hunters that have closets full of them, I don't have a whole lot, but I'm kind of fascinated by them. I like the side-by-side. Once I started shooting those, I didn't really go back, and it's not really anything other than I just like the way they feel. I like the way they swing. I like the weight on them. Kind of been a side-by-side guy, right? And I've been shooting one for long enough now, over 20 years, that last year when I bought my son Evan an over and under, I shot with it a little bit, but it just didn't feel right with the single barrel. So anyhow, back to the story, right? Getting some pig ears, walking through, they got some side-by-sides. Let me take a look. And lo and behold, they had the one that I had kind of been looking at previously. I had seen it when the store opened up. They had two of them. It's a CZ G2 Bobwhite, but it's an intermediate model. So it only has 26-inch barrels, and it's a little bit shorter length of pull. Most stock guns come like 14 3/8, 14 and a half. This one is like 14 and a quarter. But so anyhow, it's a nice short little brush gun. And when they first opened the store, I saw it. And I was like, I'd really, really like to get this. But then again, my son Evan needed a gun, so we got him the over and under. And then they kind of disappeared because they sold them, right? So lo and behold, a few months later, I'm walking through L&M Fleet Supply, and hey, look, it's that gun. And I picked it up, and I shouldered it, and I was like, I got to have one of these. I really do. I've been hunting with my Stoeger Uplander 20 gauge side-by-side for over 20 years. And for those of you that don't know the story, it's a cheap gun, but it's a really special gun to me. It's the first gun my wife ever bought for me when we first got married. And back then we didn't have a lot of money. It was a big purchase, and I used that gun for years, and I've been really, really deadly with it. But I got to be honest with you, as I get older, that gun weighs like 7.5, close to 8 pounds. It's really, really heavy, even when you set it on your shoulder. So I have been looking for something a little lighter, to be honest with you. And I saw that, and I was like, man, I gotta pick one of these up. So, I got on the phone right away, right? Text the wife, gotta make sure that to keep the marriage clean, everything good. Like, hey, they got this gun. Is it okay if I get it? And I'm waiting. And all of a sudden she got back right away. And I was like, oh, cool. Maybe it was a little bit too fast, but I opened it and it was like, yeah, I don't care. I'm like, wow, money. So I picked it up. It was $699.99 with plus the tax on it, everything like that. And real smooth transaction. L&M Fleet Supply, they're really, really good. I mean, they go quick. They can actually order you anything you want. And if you order through them rather than another firearms dealer, they'll waive the FFL fee on it. But they do also take FFL. They will also take guns from you and then charge you an FFL fee, which I think is like $25. But anyhow, they had this one in stocks, really cool. I picked it up. So the background on the gun, it's essentially a CZ Bobwhite G2. It's in a 20 gauge. It is basically the same gun, except that it has 26-inch barrels, and then the length of pull is shortened to about 14 and a quarter. Me personally, I've been shooting those guns off the rack for years at 14 and a half, 14 and 3/8, whatever. I hate to even admit it, but I never got measured. So as long as my cheek hits the stock, and every now and then I'm getting a bruised cheek because my cheek's low enough, that it's working for me because the birds are dropping. So anyhow, that gun, I love it, right? So the background, some of the data on this gun is that, like I said, 26-inch barrels, it's 14 and a quarter length of pull, somewhere around there. They're always plus and minus. There's not super tight tolerance it's a Turkish-made gun through those factories. But the gun only weighs 6 pounds. Like it says 6 pounds plus or minus. I put it on the scale here. We have the one for, that I use for puppies or whatever, and it was like 5.99 pounds or something like that. So really, really light. I'm going to be losing about 2 pounds to carry that gun in the woods this fall, and I'm really looking forward to that aspect of it. Like I said, the short barrels, that's a must for me in the grouse woods. When I go pheasant hunting, I'm fine with 28-inch barrels and whatnot out there, but when I'm in the grouse woods and a lot of the thick stuff I'm going through, I like the 26-inch shorter barrels. So it checks the box on that, checks the box on the weight. It comes with several different choke tubes. It's cylinder, improved cylinder, modified, improved, modified, and full. I did look up and see that for those people that want to use the aftermarket chokes, because sometimes I'll throw in the True Lock chokes. Those pattern very well for me. Those would be the Benelli mobile style, are interchangeable with the CZ, so you could change those out if you wanted to. And so there's those choke tubes, comes with its own choke tube wrench, and the case on the gun is really nice. Comes in a hard case. It's a breakdown case, real nice felt sleeves for the gun. And, it just seemed like a really, really nice package for that price. So let's go ahead and I'll get that gun out and we can take a look at it a little bit. So here we are looking at the CZ G2. Like I mentioned, this is a really, really nice hard case that this gun comes in. You want to take a look at it. I don't know if those are reflective or not, but it'd be really cool if they did. God forbid if we'd ever leave a gun out there. But like I said, a really, really nice hard breakdown case that this gun comes with. Got some sturdy latches on it, and you open it up, and I had mentioned these nice little felt line neoprene sleeves. You have your choke tube container right here, choke tube wrench, and your extra choke tubes that come with it. We'll go ahead and get the gun out of the sleeve itself. Here we go. So this is the lower part of the gun. Comes with a little bit of a pad on there. It's a hard rubber pad, but I got this version that only comes in the English stock. This is my first English stock gun, but yeah, it's got a nice little firm recoil pad on there. You can see there's a little bit of engraving on here. Nothing terribly fancy, and I'm generally pretty horrible with the camera work here, but let me see if I can get you that light. You can see the engraving that is on there. There's a little bit on the top as well. We have a single safety for 2 barrels because we have 2 triggers on the gun. And the wood itself is, yeah, I think it's one of those typical CZ things, right? If you wanted to make it look super, super nice, you could. But I think they do kind of like a formulated spray-on thing for this. But, it'll do. I really, really like what I'm seeing here. And then we'll get the barrel out while we're working here. And here are the barrels themselves. Upper unit. The does not have a brass bead on there. It has a little white, looks to be a piece of plastic at the end that you can look at, but we all know that even we're looking through that, we're generally not focusing on that anyhow, right? And then we've got some checkering on the forearm. All of it looks really, really nice. Again, the same kind of spray on that you would normally see on that. And so that's the gun itself. I'll go ahead and put it together so you can take a look at it. So I've gone ahead and put the gun together so you can get a look at it. Like I said, it is extremely, extremely light. There's no shells in it. It's unsafe, the whole 9 yards, right? And this gun, mounts really, really quick where I'm at. I really, really like the way it comes up. As far as length of pull, I know they say you're supposed to measure with 2 fingers in there. It mounts good to me. My cheek is right down on here. It feels really, really good. This is going to be a smooth mounting. I think it's really going to be a nice little grouse gun. Well, now that you've had a look at the gun inside that nice case and you saw me mounting it a little bit, you get a size of get an idea of the size proportion of the gun to myself. It's short, but it's something that I'm used to. I think it's going to make a really, really, really nice brush gun for rough grouse. Actually feel really blessed to be able to pick something like that up on a whim, and don't think I'm not thinking about that, about how blessed we are to be able to do something like that. But I think it's going to be a really, really nice gun. I did take it out, and I have not patterned it yet. I know, please, I know, might get bashed for that, because the first thing you're supposed to do is pattern a shotgun to see where it's shooting. But I bought it a couple weeks ago, and we're dealing with about 3.5 feet of snow. And I honestly just wanted to run a couple rounds through it to make sure there weren't any malfunctions. And so I got a box of shells. I believe I had the Federal Game and Target or something like that, the ones in the blue box, but I know they were 7/8 of an ounce of 7.5. I think they're like 1,200 feet per second or something like that. It's a pretty standard load. I put a box of shells through it. We got out the battery operated target thrower, and just made a safe little range away from the house into the woods, and tried a couple of different shots. We tried some straightaways, a little bit of angling away in order to make a safe shot. But my son and I put a good box of shells through it, and I think I might have missed one. Other than that, we had an improved cylinder in the barrels. We don't hunt with much different over pointing dogs, and it was busting clays through the first box of shells. So I will go back and pattern it this year just for the sake of curiosity to see where it patterns at. But all in all, up to this point, I'm really, really excited to get this gun out into the woods this year and see what it can do. So, that's really it. My impulse buy, and it's one of those things, right? You get it, you clean it up, put it together, shoot it a few times, and now I'm telling you guys about it. And I really, really want to go hunting with it. So I can't wait till we get to this October. But, up to this point, if you're looking for a gun in that price point for a little brush gun for the woods, it's probably one of the very few side-by-sides out there right now that you can get with those 26-inch barrels. I know there's a couple of over and unders that you can pick up, the ATI Cavalry, the Stevens 555, which is the one that I got for my son Evan. He liked that one. Has 26-inch barrels, but those are an over and unders. Other than that, you're looking into the Stogers. And again, great gun. I have nothing bad to say about that Stoger gun. I've had that gun for over 20 years, and I've shot a lot of grouse with it. As a matter of fact, I've refinished the gun twice. Those of you that have known me for years know that you've seen pictures of me refinishing that gun twice. And it's been a great gun. But, I'm a couple more years away from retirement. This stuff is gray. It's a pretty heavy gun for me to carry around as much as I walk in the grouse woods with what I'm doing. But if it, a beginner gun, you want to get into a side-by-side with 26-inch barrels, I never had a problem with the Stoger. I'm looking forward to using this CZ. I know a lot of guys have these CZs. They've had really, really good luck with them. So I'm looking forward to that. I liked it a little bit better than I've seen some of the TriStar guns. And I actually have a TriStar and 16 side by side, but I don't know how that works. Sorry about that. But that gun, again, 28-inch barrels, a little bit longer length of pull. It's more of a pheasant gun. I'm kind of persnickety about that. Like 16 gauge and 12 gauges for grouse hunting just seems like a bit of overkill for me. But again, to each his own. I just like the queen of the uplands. And so, like I said, it's getting harder and harder to find a newer model, affordable side-by-side with 26-inch barrels as a brush gun. So we're going to, let's see what this October brings. And hopefully it's one that I really, really like. So I don't have much else for you other than, keep staying tuned to our Facebook page, our website. If you like what you see here on the video, please click like and subscribe, and we'll have more wholesome grouse-related content coming your way. So thanks for tuning in.